Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in each and every week or catching a replay. I appreciate you. I go back sometimes because I want to show love to those that are showing love. And I'm like, oh, somebody's been watching, somebody's been tuning in. And for that, I am truly grateful because you don't have to do that. So thank you. Last week was amazing. We had my sister Shar, and that girl was on here showing up and showing out as always. I call her my wild card. She will always be the wild card because she's always going to give us something amazing. Friends, be gentle with yourself and know that God is pleased with you. It was such a good episode. So be sure to catch that replay if you have not. Tonight is the ending of our I'm an Author series. And tonight we're going to talk about living anger free. I can't talk. Living anger free. Can I get a witness that sometimes life doesn't always go as you planned? But can I be angry about it? I actually can. I can get upset about it. The thing is that I can't stay there. Because if I stay there, it binds me up. And tonight we're going to talk about how we can be free of some things that might anger us. Why? Because we don't want it to stump our progress. It's going to be good. So again, tonight's segment is Live Anger Free, and we have the amazing Tyra Gardner. So help me welcome Tyra.
Hey, how are you, Jen? How are you?
I'm doing well, and you? How are you?
I am awesome. I am awesome. Thanks so
Awesome.
much for having me this evening on your platform.
Oh, I thank you so much for joining me. It's going to be good already. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Girl, yeah.
Awesome. Good to know. So over here at Jen Cares, we always start with a quote of the day.
Mhm.
And today's quote of the day is, whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? It's like when I look at that quote, right? When you think about anger, it it's pretty much true. The quote is true because after we become angry, upset, all of a sudden we take a step back, we think about the incidents that occurred, and that's when we start feeling embarrassed.
Mm-hmm,
We start feeling
mm-hmm,
like, oh my gosh, I really could have did something differently.
mm.
And either they forgot what they did, because a lot of people will forget after it
Yes,
happens,
yes.
or choose to forget, right? Or they'll just hang their head down low and just like, okay, I probably should have thought about it before I actually did X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
And we see that happen a lot.
Oh, she's already in the kitchen cooking already. Hey, brother Doc, bro Doc, excuse me. My bro Doc has joined us. Good evening, Dr. Pratt, for joining. Thank you for tuning in. You said a couple things on your intro.
Hmm.
Can we talk about those for a second before we move
Sure.
into? Okay. Because you said embarrassed.
Hmm.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that because that's real.
Hmm.
We get
Oh yeah, it's real.
embarrassed. It's like we get upset. We got to protect ourselves. We got to stand up for ourselves.
Hmm. The thing is, we get embarrassed because of people already have one perception of us, and if they perceive us in a positive light, right, and then all of a sudden a situation occurs that causes us to become angry, aggressive, we start exposing our rage and other behaviors that's not politically correct, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
At that point, people start formulating opinions about you, right?
Come
And then they
on.
start saying, "Oh my goodness, oh, I seen that other side," and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, and at that point where they have put you on this pedestal, right? Now all of a sudden you start believing that because of that one incident, that all of the beliefs is now being lowered from where they
Mm-hmm.
had you up high. Now that now you're down low, and now these folks is embarrassed by you, and they
Mm-hmm.
like, "Ooh," and so that shame comes on you, and you start feeling embarrassed, like, gosh, what could I have done,
Mm-hmm.
to change the narrative of what happened? Why did I respond in that manner? Why did I do that? I could have avoided this if I had, and
Woo.
then fill in the blank.
Woo.
And so that's where the embarrassment comes from. People be embarrassed for you as well as
Mm.
you being embarrassed of yourself.
Mm. The anger and rage comes, and people see you in that moment.
Hmm.
And sometimes they do get a different perception of you. But
Hmm.
the thing is this, we've all been there.
Oh yeah.
The hope is just that they can see you process your way through it.
Exactly.
So they can say, oh, okay, you did that. I like how you handled it. They did you
Hmm.
wrong and you responded really well. A great example of that is Tabitha Brown, right? So
Yes.
Wendy Williams said some
Hmm.
things,
Hmm.
and Aunt Tab came back and just gave her love.
Oh, I loved how she responded to that. I
I mean,
really
everybody was
did.
like, she did good. She did better than me because I would have been petty Betty and things of that sort. But she did
Exactly.
phenomenal. Such a great example
Hmm.
of how we can respond when somebody is taking us
Hmm.
there. We don't have to always go to the fight, you know?
Right. Exactly.
They want us to get
Exactly.
into the ring, and we don't got to go
Hmm.
to the circus all the time, friends.
And it's just like, and I love, like, I loved how Tabitha responded, but I also love that Tabitha didn't say anything else afterwards. Because
Yes.
when we look at, what happened with Wendy
Mhm.
after that, because it was only shortly after, you
You know
know,
what? You know what? Hey,
and
Mama Wanda, I ain't messing with Tyra tonight. Hey,
because
Mama
that K
Wanda.
word, that K word start coming out,
And it's
and
real, and people don't think that it can come and bite you in the
mm,
butt
that K word come through. She come through like a thief in the night.
like a thief in the night. And
And for those that don't know what the K word is, the K word is karma.
yes,
You know,
and it eventually comes and gets you. We don't know how it will get us, but it does
Mhm.
get us. We got to be careful of how
Yes.
what we dish out. We
Hmm.
want good stuff to come back,
Right.
good
Right.
energy to come back. This bad
Exactly.
stuff, they can keep
Exactly.
that. It's for the birds. I don't want none of that. Because then I get
Hmm.
upset and angry, like, why is it coming to me and it ain't going to them? Or, because I'm like looking at everybody else and not seeing what I could learn from that experience either.
Right.
Because,
Hmm.
even in that situation, she could have learned and did better next time. But who knows if
Right.
that did or didn't happen. And it's
Hmm.
true. If I don't
Yes.
pass the test the first time, it's going to come back around.
Of course. Of course.
In
And it
school, we
will.
learned that.
Hmm.
You might not have did well on that midterm, but on that final, they're gonna talk about some stuff from the midterm.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
And like,
going to come back around, so we want to make
mhm.
sure that we're prepared.
Yeah. And that's like I tell everybody, I'm like, you don't like, a lot of people don't like science, but Newton's third law of motion always comes back. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
There is a reaction.
So you need to be prepared for it. And when anger, you always see it happen.
Yes.
And some people, display signs of anger in situations that is not needed.
Mm.
They make up things within in their they make up have their own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
put things in their head, and they pretty much bring it out to lash out at others for no reason at all. And we see that happen a lot. We see it happening with a lot of people with the road rage,
Uh huh.
and it's like now we have all these video cameras everywhere.
Yes.
People think they can't be found out, but guess what? You can
You
get
can.
found out.
You can be found out because
Hmm.
these cameras are catching you.
Hmm.
You're on candy camera. It used to be a little
Yep. A
joke,
show.
and that was real. You're on
Real,
candy
real.
camera. At any time, somebody's
Hmm.
ring light, ring camera,
Yep.
somebody's phone camera, somebody's car dash
It's
camera,
always
whatever.
somebody watching.
Somebody, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Somebody is watching. You got to be careful. So, in that, a piece you said was thinking about stuff before we doing it, because I want to come back to that anger in situations when it's not needed,
Hmm.
because there is a balance, and sometimes we get angry and we don't need
Hmm.
to be there. But
Hmm.
that part of thinking before
Hmm.
we act, thinking
Hmm.
before we respond.
That's
Let's
big,
talk about
right?
that.
That's big, right?
It is because
Because
so
the
many
thing
of us
is,
we forget.
Yeah, we all forget,
Yes,
and that's
we
like,
all.
look, that's like one of the number one tips that I give for anger management is to think before we respond. The thing
Mhm.
is, when we get angry, right, the number one thing we don't do is process. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't process the situation that is occurring that is causing us the most anger, right?
Mm,
And so when we don't process that, it's like we down for whatever,
this is good.
and it's just like we look up and we will give that same energy
Mhm.
when somebody makes us upset, right? We give it
Yes.
to our friends, right? And then
Mm.
all of a sudden, our friends they jump on the bandwagon, and guess what they doing on the bandwagon? They hyping us up.
Then that-
They hyping the situation all the way up for us to get even madder than we already are. And it's just like, no, you need to sit back and think about what happened. You never have that one person who is the voice of reason.
You
And
know,
sometimes when you are the voice of reason, when it's a friend or a family member who gets to that heightened level, they're not gonna call you
yeah,
because they know you're
mm,
gonna talk them out of it.
that's right there, right there. And I've had to embrace that, because I can be known as the voice of reason. I have a friend, he'd be like, my brother, he'd be like, you Jennifer, benefit of the doubt. You're trying to always give people the benefit of the doubt, you know, because I also realize that people have a bad day,
Mm-hmm.
they respond because anger is just a secondary response to something that happened, right?
Yes.
So in that, I'm responding because something else happened. So what happened for them to be angry? Let's process that.
Mm-hmm.
So they fussing about somebody going off. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, how are you feeling? Did you have a rough day? Like, what was going on? Like, give me the side eye. Like, Jennifer, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
No, he shouldn't have did da.
Mm-hmm.
However, you're trying to find out what the root of it is, and sometimes
Yeah.
we don't process
Yep.
to find out why we are angry. You're angry because you're hot. Turn the fan on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still angry. So that means that you weren't angry because you're hot. Let's keep on
Mm-hmm.
processing to find out what
Mm-hmm.
is the root
What's the
of why
underlying
we're
root of
angry.
it? Mm-hmm. And a
Mm.
lot of people don't know the underlying root.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they just they feel what they feel. They don't want to say that it's because I didn't get my way,
Oh, oh, oh,
because
oh.
that's the elephant in the room right there. When
Come
people
on.
don't get their way, they
Yes.
put themselves in a negative mindset, whether it's at
Mm.
home or whether it's at work. And so the goal is to be able to identify your triggers
Mm-hmm.
and what triggers you when you become angry. You know,
Mm.
is not getting my way a trigger? Is because I went to the refrigerator to go grab something out. I already came in the house with the hangries,
Mm-hmm.
and now I
Mm-hmm.
go in the refrigerator, can't even get what I want to eat out of it, right? So
Yes.
now they're in a whole nother mindset with that also. And so
Mm.
now they're upset over that, but they don't want to identify it as the food, right?
Don't want to
But
identify
then
that.
you have situations where you have displaced anger, and with
Mm.
displaced anger is when people take situations that happened in their life and they bring it on to other people who were not even a part of the situations that happened.
Come
And
on.
all of a sudden now we have a whole big situation, a whole ordeal, because now you done upset everyone
Everybody.
because you got mad at the folks at work, for example. Then you're mad at your boss. You bring it home to your spouse and your children and
Mm-hmm.
your parents or whoever you're living with, and now
Mm-hmm.
all of them have to take the grunt of
Mm-hmm.
the negativity that should have been left at your job. Right,
Mm.
that time that you took driving from your job to your home, you should have
Come
used that
on.
time as process time
Come
so that you
on.
can marinate out of that mindset
Yes.
of work and
Mm.
know that, okay, I'm in the mindset of going home,
Yes.
so that we can actually free our brain up from all of this. And then you
Mm.
look at situational anger, which
Yes. Come on.
situational anger is what a lot of people have, right? And
Yes.
situational anger is based off of the situation. That's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily saying that the individual is angry. What
Yes.
we're saying is it's a situation that caused them to be angry. So we need to be able to address the situation,
Come on.
see how we can find a solution,
Yes.
and be able to identify ways to conquer this so that this person is not pointed the finger at, to looked upon as the angry individual. I see this a lot when it comes to women in court,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like a lot of women are always with that angry, whether it's the angry black woman or the angry woman syndrome when things don't go their way. It's a situation. They're not angry people. It's just that this situation occurred. I'm doing the best I can to rectify it. I can't have an emotion. And it's like,
I'm
and
doing the best I can to
hmm and,
rectify it. And
yep,
even in that, you get angry because
right.
you really are doing the best you can.
hmm
And it still don't seem like that 1 and 1 is equaling 2. It's still like one
hmm
and a half. Like, what's going on?
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that you see happen a lot, where a lot of people will get in trouble because of
Come on.
situational anger
Mm. Mm.
and not being able to develop a solution.
So
And
good.
it's like sometimes people are like, okay, I thought I had the solution, but I don't know what happened.
Mm.
Sometimes we don't know what happened.
We don't know. And sometimes we do have something that seems to be a good solution and
hmm
it doesn't work out and we get frustrated. But guess what? We got to try again.
Yes.
We
Yep.
got to try again. And sometimes we be ready to give up. We be ready to
hmm
quit. And I always see the meme every time I need it. Like maybe I should not do whatever X, Y,
hmm
and Z. And I'll
hmm
see the meme where the guy gave up and he walked away and he was just on a cusp
hmm
of getting that gold,
hmm
just on a brink
hmm
of getting that breakthrough, just on a brink.
hmm
So we can't
hmm
give up because we never know when we're there.
hmm Yep.
And it's
Exactly.
not going to always look like what you think it's going to look like. That
hmm
win, that breakthrough.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Because we paint a picture of how we want things to look. And when it don't look the way that we want it to look, then all of a sudden we have a whole how can I put it, tantrum.
Yeah, you're right.
We have a tantrum. It might not be the kicking and screaming tantrum that we saw when we were children, but it be a whole different type of tantrum, whether
Mhm,
it's through arguing, whether
mhm.
it's through pouting, whether it's through crying. And I know people probably are saying, this lady is crazy. I have never seen an adult do it. Oh, it's adults out there doing it.
Huh.
They find other ways to get back at you. It's just being able to know when there is a situation occurring for them to try to you know, deflect these behaviors on you. Because
If
a lot of people don't know.
if you've never seen an adult have a tantrum, please walk around with me for a day. Because it's sometimes that guy be allowing some things. I'm like, that's not how I wanted it, what I want. You're like, what's going on? And I get in my little tizzy
Mm-hmm.
and I say, he loves me so much because he just like let me have my moments. But
Yeah, he
there's
brings you
sometimes
through.
that things is not going.
Mm-hmm.
Even at work, sometimes I'll tell you to do something. We have a little tizzy and tantrum then too. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not what, or the funny meme that's always going around, the meetings that could have been an email. We
Mm-hmm.
have a little tantrum in those too.
Girl, I had a tantrum earlier today. I got some paperwork I had to do, and I'm just like, I'm sending the paperwork. They like still not right. I'm like, wait a minute.
Ah,
And I'm like, you look, you in your prehistoric program from the 90s, like, hello, welcome to 2022. You still in the 90s and we in 2022. What are you doing? And
what are you
I'm sitting
doing?
up there like, ooh, I mean, I got it done and got it done right, but after an hour, but it was
Mhm,
just like I was sitting here like, I am not doing this. This is not what I do.
mhm. But even in that, like we get upset
Mhm,
and we get angry, but it still has to get done. It still
mhm.
falls under that and other duties as assigned. And I'll
Yes.
just become hip to it. I will just
Mhm,
go to a meeting prepared to have some pieces to do in cases a portion that's not related
mhm,
to me and things that sort. So I'm still being productive. I'm
mhm.
still using my time wisely.
Right.
Because if I'm just sitting there doing nothing, I'm in a little bit more bubble, like, oh, I got so much stuff to do. Because
Mhm.
meetings don't stop the work that gotta happen, right? We
Right.
still gotta
No,
get
they
work
don't.
done.
Still got
So
to
you gotta
get
be
done.
present for the pieces that are applicable to you.
Mhm,
But then also, again, I multitask.
mhm,
I'm in there like, all right, let me get this done too. Like, okay, cool. That's not really me. Da, 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 da.
mhm.
And it helps me to get through. I use
Yep.
that time to be focused on something because no phones are ringing. Email might be coming in, but I could really use that time to get something that I needed to get done.
Mhm,
So that when I
mhm,
come out, I could be ready for the next thing to happen. So, in that part of redirecting our anger or
mhm,
identifying it and then canceling it out with something positive,
mhm.
to help us go forward. And again, anger is not always bad. So let's talk
Right.
about that. Let's talk about the times when anger is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is the times that anger isn't bad is when times when, you know, there are situations that may fall out of our control, right? And and we know that getting angry might be the only emotion that we can show at that moment, right? And so at that time, it's just like you're trying to make sense of things,
Right, right.
right? And when you don't show a negative reaction with it, that's when the anger isn't bad. And it's just like, and we just want people to know that, there is a good side and a bad side, and it's just being able to know that, there will be times that you have to be able to allow yourself grace, when you become upset, because
Mm.
that's something that we don't do.
Come on.
We don't give ourselves grace. We don't
Mm-hmm.
allow ourselves time to say, okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay for me to have this emotion. It's
Yeah.
okay for me, I know I'm going to get the help that I need,
Yeah.
so let me figure this all out. Let me process this, and so when we sit down and we think about it, right, that's when we have to say, okay, let me try to find healthier ways
Mm-hmm.
to handle the anger that
Yeah.
I have. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And with that, being able to journal or being able to have a moment where you can put yourself in a room and scream.
Yes.
And sometimes people want to sing out loud. Some people like to dance out loud,
Mm-hmm.
dance, do a crazy dance. Sometimes people you just need to be able to find ways to process
Yes.
the anger,
Yeah.
and find a healthy way to do it.
Mm-hmm. I love it because anger. It also reminds me of any feeling, right? It's like when you're in your car and
Mhm.
the light comes on, and
Mhm.
lets us know that something is a little off.
Mhm.
Something's a little out of whack. That check
Right.
engine light came on because that anger then bubbled up, and it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, that is an alert to us to let us
Mhm.
know, hey, let me see what's going on. Let me figure out what it is. Sometimes we gotta go under that hood. Because
Mhm.
sometimes it's not at first glance. And sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, that's why I'm upset. And then you still upset and you're not understanding. So
Mhm.
again, in that processing, you're figuring out what it is that's really
Mhm.
making you upset. What it is that's making you happy, because we want to do more of that if we're happy.
Mhm.
What it is making us sad. What it is making us fearful.
Mhm.
Really processing and getting to the root of it. Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness.
Yeah, anger is interesting, and it's just like when you think about anger, and anger management, one area that a lot of people don't think about is like nutrition with
Mm-hmm.
anger, right? There are certain foods, like with anything that we should not eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we drink a lot of caffeine and eat a lot and consume a lot of foods
Yeah.
that are unhealthy with a lot of sugars,
Mm-hmm.
they can cause us, they can basically increase those negative emotions within
Yes.
us, that
Mm-hmm.
can cause issues, right? So it's good to be able to, incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Also being able to eat a lot of plenty of foods with dopamine building foods,
Mm.
like fish and poultry and eggs and things like that to help you with, with your diet and keeping keeping those anger moments down,
Yes.
because the thing is, the goal is to be anger free. The
Come
goal
on.
is to be able to find ways to improve
Yes.
yourself from situations
Mm-hmm.
that may cause you anger.
Yeah.
Now, we do know, I'm about to say that T word that a lot of people like to stay away from too, and that's toxic.
Mm.
Because there are a lot of toxic people that we may come across that will cause you to become angry,
Come
right?
on.
And some people will question, why do I get angry so easily?
Come
Why do I
on.
get upset so easily? And it's because of, it could be somebody that's around you that may have some kind of negative energy or may just be that toxic that
Mm.
they cause all of these negative feelings to come over you to the point where you just don't know how to respond,
Mm-hmm.
and one moment you can start off happy. I mean, Jen, tell me, you've been in a situation ever where one moment you was happy and then somebody entered the room and you're like, oh,
Yes.
trying to figure out
Yup.
why am I feeling like this,
Yup.
and
I've
don't
been
know
there.
why, and then you find out a little later on, it's
Yup.
like, oh, it's that person. And
Yup.
believe it or not, even on social media,
Come
it was
on.
so funny. I had this discussion with my business partner who's a clinical psychologist and an MD.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because she said, I was watching something on Instagram and I said, okay. She said, girl, this individual entered the room. I got out. I said, what? She said, I felt a dark cloud over that person and I just left. I couldn't take it.
Look.
She said, and it was like, she said, I see negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and I said, okay. I said, so where people think it's only toxicity in person, no, it's on these social media streets too. So you have to
Yes.
be careful and be mindful of the energy that
Yes.
you intake with that as well.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm spiritual as well, right? I go to church. I'm a Christian. I do, and if I start feeling things isn't right, I grab the Bible and I start reading. And people like, when
Look,
you start doing scriptures, like mind your business.
mind your business.
I'm
That's
like,
what
I'm
you
just
do.
gonna tell y'all what it is. I'm like, look,
Yes.
I was talking to somebody the other day who was experiencing a lot of anger. I said, girl, let me send you some scriptures.
I love it because you got to find what works for you to help you to
You
get out of that.
do.
But another part you said about the people that surround you,
Hmm.
I it's this it's a I'm out there now. Okay, so it's this therapist right on Instagram, and she goes live,
Hmm.
and I be so disappointed. It's like her voice that
Hmm.
bothers me, and hey, my voice might bother somebody too, and they
Hmm.
probably don't tune in or they tune in and be like, no, I can't hear it. It's okay. I'm all right with it because I get it. I'm for the people that can take it. But she will always cut off the guests.
Really?
And then I like when you get into a good conversation where the male is the guest because I like to hear the male's perspective. You know, I know
Hmm.
what I'm thinking. I know most of us is thinking the same thing because I got some friends and we kind of be like on the same wavelength sometimes, but
Yeah.
they think a little different. So I like to hear their perspective. And I used to feel like she always cuts them off, and it was just grind my gears, right? And I
Hmm.
was like, oh, I don't even want to hear her voice. I don't even want to watch her lives. And then
Hmm.
sometimes I would just watch it, just irritated, agitated, just get me angry. Now I
Hmm.
can unclick the live. Absolutely. But my
Right.
special self sometimes would just feed it or whatever.
Hmm.
I was randomly listening to a podcast and I was like, it's something about this voice. And it had been so ingrained in me that I wasn't a fan of her.
Right.
And I knew her voice on another podcast. I was like, see, I can't do it. I can't do it. She cutting them off too. And again, if
Hmm.
that's not what you like, you got to know what your triggers are. You know,
Hmm.
I worked
Hmm.
at a residential and the kids would be like, you're triggering me, you're triggering me, you're triggering me. And they would
Hmm.
get upset because that used to be almost like their favorite word that would come off.
Hmm.
However, if you're causing them to be upset, if you're causing them to feel some type of way, in a
Hmm.
sense, that is a trigger. So they're
Right.
trying to let you know that you're being triggered. So you
Hmm.
want to know what those triggers are, when
Hmm.
they pop up, what's causing them to pop up, what person, place, or thing,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then how you can adjust that person, place, or thing
Hmm.
so that you're not as triggered because that toxic,
It's real.
it's real.
And
It's
sticking
out here.
around, right, and staying around is a choice.
And staying around is the choice. So if you stay around it and you
Hmm.
know what's making you uncomfortable, either you're gonna pray because it's a situation where you gotta pray, or it's a situation
Hmm.
where you need to exit stage left, you know?
Hmm.
But you have to know how to get out, you gotta know um to get out that situation.
Let me tell you, that's why I always tell everybody, we think about the CDC, we think about, health with
Mm-hmm.
CDC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at CDC as this: choices, decisions, control,
Mm,
right? Because you have the choice to make
mm-hmm.
the decision to
Come on.
control which way you're going to go, right? Whether you're going to stay in a situation and allow the toxicity to take over you, or to be in a situation where you're feeling triggered,
Mm,
that's your choice to stay. Nobody else is making you stay,
yeah,
so you have to make that decision and take control over that narrative and
yeah.
change it.
So I also got to play the devil's advocate a little bit, I guess, because I've also done some work with a couple before, right? And she just
Hmm.
liked to argue, she liked to fuzz, she liked to do those things. I was
Hmm.
like, do you like doing that? She's like, what you mean? Do I like doing it? I said, I just wonder because he don't like it, and you keep doing it, and it's bringing you a high, and you're being fulfilled,
Hmm.
So what's
Right.
going on? Like, if it is something that you like,
Hmm.
acknowledge it
Hmm.
so that we can address it
Because
because
we know people get a high out for that.
you growing up, arguing, yelling, screaming might have been your
Hmm.
thing. However,
Hmm.
everybody doesn't take that very well. So you got
Hmm.
to be honest if it's something that you like, and then express that to your partner, your friends, those around you, so that
Hmm.
they know how to, embrace it. Because either they're gonna walk away or they're
Hmm.
gonna love you and stay, but say, sis, you gotta calm that down, bruh. Stop. I don't want to hear that today. And you
Hmm.
have to be able to
Hmm.
respect the limits of how much they could take of you being toxic.
Right.
Because toxic has almost also become a norm for some because it's just in their nature to do those things.
Hmm. And that's the part that a lot of people don't understand. Toxicity can be a norm for people.
Yes.
And it's just like, and when you look at just like anger, Some people get angry just
Yes.
because they think it feels good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had
Some
where
people
anger felt good.
look, let me tell you, people do some strange
You,
things.
you,
They
you're right.
pick fights and
You're right.
arguments with
You're right.
people just to get a rise out of people,
Yes.
just to see how they would respond to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and you find people like, yo, why are you arguing with me? Like, what did I do to
Mm-hmm.
deserve all of this?
Yes.
But we get people that that's what they do, and that is called like sudden anger,
Mm.
right? And so what sudden anger is where anger comes out of nowhere. This
Mm.
type of anger
Mm-hmm.
tends to happen quickly and is usually over just as quickly as it
As it
starts.
came. Come on.
You know what I mean? And but it can leave a mass of destruction.
Yes. Because they gonna
Okay.
be. Because then they was like, she if you can short. She
Hmm.
was just mad. Now she good.
Yep.
He was just mad. Now he good. Now we know
Hmm.
that we have my ladies. We have a friend that comes to visit sometimes, and if we ain't careful, we can have some sudden anger as well. You
Oh
know.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
fellas, if you're watching, if you're listening, you get it too. God bless. You just get
Hmm.
a different way because you can get some sudden anger as well. But you have to be
Hmm.
able to make a choice, make a
Make a
decision, and
choice.
gain control of that. I'm gonna
Hmm.
take that and use that. Because it's your choice. Mama
Yep.
Wanda, yes, staying around is the choice. You gotta keep
Hmm.
scrolling, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. But the number one word that always causes people to get the most, that causes the most anger.
Oh, she about to say another bad word. Come on with it.
Girl, no. No. You tell somebody no, they go off.
I told you she about to tell us a
They
bad
go
word.
no. You tell somebody no,
They don't
they
want to
will
hear it.
go off. They don't want to hear it. Don't tell me no. You tell me yes.
Yes.
And it's just like, well, no, I'm not telling you yes because that's not what I want. I'm saying no because no is what it is.
Yes.
And people get so angry because nobody wants to be told no. Everybody
Mhm.
wants to have a yes person, right? And
Uh,
it's just like when you look at the word no, if somebody's telling you no, accept it and
yes.
move on. Know
Yes.
that next opportunity, that's what
Come
no
on.
means, your next
Yes. Yes.
opportunity for you to move on and go somewhere else. This opportunity is not for you, but guess what? The next person that's coming along might be have the right key to
Yes.
success that you want right at that moment, but just being okay with saying, I'm
Yes.
okay with you telling me no, and I'm okay to move forward with that.
Let's sit here for a second. Because no really does make people angry. I'm gonna tell on somebody. I'm not telling their name. I'm just gonna tell on them, right? So we
Hmm.
were at an event and they were praying. They was like, let me know that it's okay to say no and things.
Hmm.
And it's hard because you do want to help people.
Hmm.
So I've been working on ways to help the masses instead of like individuals. Where if I help the
Hmm.
masses, then they all getting the help they need, and then I still say yes in a sense, right?
Hmm.
But it was on my
Hmm.
terms of things. And she said, you know what? I had to pray though. Because I just didn't want the Lord to have you say no to me. And I was too tickled because, one, the honesty, because
Hmm.
you are
Hmm.
helping people, you do want them to do good and you
Right.
do want to be there for the people. It's just long as they understand you trying to figure out a balance of your life of the things that you already are doing,
Right.
then it's good. Because
Hmm.
my thing is, I don't want to be the spread too thin.
Right. Hmm.
I want to be able to help in this area, and be fully present. Because if I'm not giving you my full self, you would have probably wished I said no. Like, she could have just stayed home.
Right.
She didn't
Hmm.
come. How can we tell her no? Thank you. you
Right.
know, but, just long as they have the patience and
Hmm.
you trying to figure out the balance of how to add one more thing on their plate. I'm not.
Hmm.
I don't do good with juggling. With the actual balls and things of sort, but I'm trying to make sure that
Hmm.
I keep the things that are before me is going all right. I'm trying to handle what's on the stove, what needs to come off the stove, what can sit in
Hmm.
the, oven a little while longer and things that
Hmm.
not dry nothing out. What other appliance can I use? What's
Right.
on the slow cooker that can take a little longer? I gotta
Hmm.
use, what needs to go in the air fryer, what needs to be done now.
Right.
I gotta figure out how that works. And as long as I got the patience with it, then it works
Hmm.
out. But that
Right.
no, sometimes it comes, come on, you can get paid for it.
Hmm.
Everything ain't worth getting paid for.
Right. Right. Because at the end of the day, you got to look at the price that it's actually costing you.
Come,
Right.
because it's more than just the
Because
money.
it's more than just the money. It's your
Come on.
time.
Come on.
It's your time. You know what I mean? And when you look at time costs more than anything,
Anything. You can't get
especially when
back.
you're wasting it.
Mm.
you know.
Oh,
And I mean, we find ourselves sometimes put in situations where we waste more time than
yeah,
anything. And then, because I'm the first person to tell anybody, like if I'm doing something and I find that, I mean, like it's not really serving my purpose, I will tell somebody in a heartbeat.
yeah.
So this is an hour I won't get back.
Yeah, hilarious,
you
hilarious.
know,
But you
people
gotta
look at
look. You
me
gotta
like,
be
really?
honest,
Right, you gotta be
and by you
honest.
expressing it, you're letting it out. Because had you held that in, then
Hmm.
something else happened. Another couple hours you lose. Another couple hours you lose. Then you
Hmm.
go off. Let's talk about that too. When we're not letting things out,
Right,
how
right.
you
And the
blow
thing is,
up.
yeah, the thing is, a lot of us keep things bottled in
Hmm.
because number one, we care about other people's feelings,
Hmm.
right? We don't want to hurt someone else's feelings,
Yes.
right? And so,
Yes.
and all that falls under the whole no concept as well, right?
Yes.
And so, because we want to spare people's feelings, we will, try to hold in our true emotions, whether it's something argumentative,
Hmm.
whether it's you want to be the voice of reason, because you got to
Hmm.
tell me, Jen, being a voice of reason and the benefit of the doubt, sometimes we want to let it all out, but we know that it may hurt the other
Hmm.
individual. And
Hmm.
trying to soften the blow to people, sometimes you can soften it and sometimes you can't, and you just hope that people know that I'm coming from a loving place with saying this to you.
You're talking to me because they'd be like, Jennifer, it's time for you to go home. I'm like, what? I just had this.
No, they don't. They don't put you out.
And I've been put out of better places. But it's good to let things out. And
It is.
one, you also want to make sure you're in a safe place to be able to do that because everybody can't take all of Jennifer. I get that.
Hmm.
Everybody can't take her because she's gonna tell you
Hmm.
like it is. One time somebody told me someone I was like, "That's not a wise idea for you to do," and they did it, and then it didn't work out, and I was tickled. They was like, "Why are you laughing?" Because I told you not to do it. Like, what else am I supposed
Hmm.
to do? I can't cry about it. It doesn't happen. Now we gotta pick up the pieces and things.
I
But
just
that's
shake
not
my
something.
head when that happens, though. I just shake my. I don't even respond. I just shake my head, say,
In that situation, I was too tickled. But again, it's also depending on the person. Some people like, all right, get you some tissues, blow it out, and things like that. So you
hmm,
know how to
hmm.
respond to different people and things like that.
Right.
But it be so many wasted hours. Mama wonder like,
Hmm.
and you just be talking to you blue in the face and things of that sort. And
Hmm.
then you getting frustrated, you getting angry
Yeah. Yep.
because they ain't listening.
Hmm.
You
And
know?
yeah, and that does cause you anger when other people don't take your advice
Mm.
and listen to what you're trying to say. I'm not trying to make it difficult for you. I'm
Hmm.
trying to help you
Yeah.
make it easier.
Yeah.
But sometimes with that, when you give advice that's maybe sometimes unsolicited,
Hmm.
we got to take our step back and just let people learn on their own. Because the thing
Absolutely.
is, with us giving them the
Mm.
tools and telling them exactly how to do
Ah,
it and everything, I mean, we can sit here and laugh like, yeah, I told them and they ain't listen. And I just, huh. But at the end of the day, I was trying to be helpful.
mhm, mhm.
And does it hurt? Yeah, sometimes it does
Yeah,
hurt when
yeah.
you're trying to help people. Number one, save time. That's
Mhm.
number one. Number
Right.
two, save energy. Number three, trying to help them navigate through a situation a
Yeah.
lot easier than you are actually doing it, because A, I might have did it before and that's why
Mhm.
I'm telling you why I'm doing
Mhm.
this, or B, somebody I saw do it before and it didn't work for them and it ain't gonna work for you. But with that being said, being able, again, the A word, acceptance, being
Mm,
able to accept that we have to allow people
mm.
to learn on their own. We have to
Absolutely.
accept them for who they are, meet them halfway, and
Mhm.
understand their reasonings for why they had to do what they did.
Absolutely. And that's the big one. As a therapist, like you're trained or trained meaning like your mindset is already
Mhm,
ready to say something a gazillion and one times. Why?
mhm.
Because you came to therapy, it didn't happen overnight.
Nope.
So it's gonna take a while for it to be processed and things of that sort. And I
Mhm,
have to also like will myself in with friends and things sometimes too, or
mhm.
just like random people I be talking to because apparently I have this persona where people just could like just tell me all of their life stories and things of that sort. And I have to
Girl, we
remember,
must be sisters. That happened to me too. Everywhere I go, no matter what age.
some years ago I was at the Nellery and a girl started talking to me about her life. The Nellery. And
I
again,
know.
I take it, I go and had a conversation. But what I work to do also is to make sure that one, Jennifer, be Jennifer.
Mhm,
Not therapist Jennifer, not
mhm,
Dr. Jennifer, not
mhm,
Mrs. Fix It Jennifer, not
mhm,
just be Jennifer. And you
mhm,
have to also know what version of you they want. And
mhm,
sometimes I had a friend, she calls, like, all right, so I need therapist Jennifer. So she was like, do I need to put my feet up on the couch? You do whatever you want to do, things
mhm,
like that.
mhm.
But then you know which one you're getting. But
Right.
even in the friend Jennifer, I still want the best for you. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. She's like, you're probably not going to agree with it. I said, it's not about agreeing with it. I want you to be happy. Are you happy? If you're
Mhm,
not happy, what can we do to make sure that you're happy?
mhm.
And happy is fluid, it comes and goes and things of that sort. But are you really okay with how this situation is happening?
Right.
Would you want that for somebody else that
Mhm,
you love, and things of that sort? And
mhm,
when you put in that perspective, it's still
mhm.
their choice. Either they
Right.
can still stay in it
Mhm,
because they comfortable in it,
mhm. Of course, and that's
or
the
they
that's
gonna
the
get
C
out of
word.
it.
Look, and that's the C word, comfort. When you get comfortable in something, you'll stay in it,
Yeah.
regardless whether the situation is good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
toxic or not toxic.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to stay in it because the thing is, I don't want to do nothing different. A lot
Mm.
of people out here is so afraid of change. When you look at everything that's happened over the past 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
it's like change happened rapid and fast for a lot of people.
Yes.
And we already had the fear of change anyway. A lot of
Right.
people was experiencing the fear of change anyway. So
Yes.
to be put in an uncomfortable place that caused them
Whew.
anxiety with this,
Mm.
and everybody's like, why is everybody angry? Why is there,
Why?
because they
Why?
don't, they can't process change.
Yes.
They can't process change. And when you think about it, it's just like, everybody, like, I've been laughing at a lot of the posts that's been going on social media, where people is just like, I know, I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with Instagram and Facebook in regards to this precise location thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, for those who might not know about it, go to your settings. If you have an Apple product, mainly an iPhone or iPad, check your settings.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is a thing. Check your location, and what happens is in the settings it might say precise location if your locations is open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening is people know exactly where to get you at. They know how to. They know exactly precisely how to
Precisely.
find you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to make sure you turn that off.
Yes.
Well, as an anger management specialist, right? When I heard about that, I was like, whoa, I see already we gonna have some problems. I said, this is not gonna
I'm
go
like,
over
oh, that's
well.
where she at?
That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly. I
I ain't
said,
like what she said to me.
this is gonna go. I said it was bad enough, right? Where people was checking people's IP locations
Mm-hmm.
through the apps and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, and running those coordinates on Google and
Mm-hmm.
finding people. But
Yeah.
now these platforms made it real easy for
Mm-hmm.
people to find you now for real. And so, so for all y'all that's iPhone users, Apple product users, make sure you turn it off, especially if you're not wanting
Yeah.
to be found. That's just a little extra information,
Yeah.
to give
Yeah.
all of you this evening. But it's just like, that is causing increased anger right now,
Yes.
and we don't, and unintentionally we don't need it.
We don't.
We
We
don't
don't.
need it.
And another part is we're so quick to post where we are and things of that sort, flashing things.
Hmm. Hmm.
How about post when you get home? Because what if you're
Exactly.
posting, you ain't home, they're like, oh yeah,
I
she
can
was
get it.
there, I can
We
get
I
it,
can get it
you
now.
know, even as kids growing up, I think was turn the light on so at nighttime they see the light on so they know somebody in there, things of that sort.
Hmm.
Or you had like the time on, things of that sort.
Hmm.
But we're not doing those things no more these days.
No.
We are saying, hey, pick me, come get me.
We sitting home with a ring camera, sitting there watching the app, trying
Mm,
to see what's actually going on.
see what's going on. So
You
friends,
know,
be
and the
careful with
thing.
these location sharing.
Yeah, and the thing, so you have to really be careful, with all of these various products and things out there.
Yes,
And we're
yes.
not telling you all these things to make people experience more anxiety. We're
Mm-hmm.
just telling you all of this because we need everybody out here to be aware
Aware,
of
aware.
everything that's happening, because the thing is we don't want to see anything happen to anyone that
Right.
will cause them any more anxiety,
Than what
any
we
more
already is.
anger than what you
Yes.
already have, right? And we don't want you to be put in a situation where you have to have abrupt change.
Mm-hmm.
that, and it's based off of something that could have been prevented early on.
Yes. Yes. So good. So good. So friends,
Prevention is everything when it comes to anger.
everything. I mean, everything. Where you park at when you go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody looks suspect near your car, because
Mm-hmm.
you get angry, it's frustrating. It really is. But that you have to put precautions sometimes, or you have to
Yes.
go these extra steps. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's gonna save your life,
Yep.
it's enough things taking our lives, friends.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're
so
right.
if you can.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyra, you wrote this book called Live Anger Free. Why did you
Yes.
write that?
Well, I wrote this book is because I felt as though people, lately we have been experiencing a lot of anger out here, and I meet with a lot of clients in my practice who, they come in that one moment they say, "Oh, I'm not angry. There's nothing wrong with me," and then the next moment it's just like I see a whole outburst, and I'm like, "Okay, but you're not angry." And so my thing is I wrote this live anger free anger management journal because I want people to be able to identify their triggers, be able to develop ways to cope with the anger, as well as finding tools, additional tools that will help them navigate through, right, everything that they're experiencing. And so, with coming out with this book, I wanted people to be able to stop putting the blame on others and start accepting their own responsibilities when it
Mm,
comes to anger.
come on.
Let's start using more I statements and being able to acknowledge the things that
Yes.
I did, opposed to putting the blame on someone else.
Mm.
And so that was my reason for coming out with this.
And I also love it because I said live anger free, but I love it because it's really a play on words.
Mhm.
Let's laugh,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. And so I came out with the title Let's Laugh because laughter is one of my tips that I have in with coping with anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes so many people have so many situations that arise, right? They can't even remember why they're angry. And the first thing they do is start to laugh, right?
Yes. Yes.
Laughter releases tension. And
Mm.
so that's what we want to do with this journal. We want you to be able to release that tension that is caused from the anger that you might be experiencing, especially if it's a situation where you don't know why.
When you don't know.
We need to work on that. We need to be able to have these conversations. So
Yes.
I decided to name it Let's Laugh, Live
Yes.
Anger Free.
Mm. Mm. And it's so important because again, you'd be like, yeah, I'm mad at him. Well, why are you mad? He, uh,
Can't
uh,
even think of it.
can't even think of it. And then you try to think of someone when it's like that's not even something to really be mad about. So
Hmm.
again, identifying what is going on, getting
Hmm.
to that root core of it.
I mean, you do have people that, like you look at people who like gamers and stuff like that who break controllers and
Mm-hmm.
TVs and things like that, and it's like talking with them and trying to help them understand, okay, so you don't have anything to use now. You don't tore up all your products. Now you don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything. So let's get to know our anger.
Yes.
And that's something that people
Yes.
don't, let's start by getting to know what causes me to become anger. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be able to talk about this. Let's talk about the stages. Let's talk about how I feel when I start to become angry. Let's see if I can
Mm-hmm.
identify that
Yes.
emotion in me that
Yes.
I start feeling like I'm boiling up,
Mm.
and so that we can start working on toning it down from
Yes.
within,
Yes.
because the outer emotion that we see with the anger is the fighting. We see the facial expression
Mm-hmm.
changes. We see
Mm-hmm.
the tension in the arms, fists, things like that. But what we don't see is what's going on in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do see the sweat that comes
Yes.
from
Yes.
the anger because of the blood pressure boiling, because at this
Mm-hmm.
point you worked up a sweat because you became so
Yes.
aggressive
Mm-hmm.
from everything that's happening. So now we need to
Yes.
start working on
Ooh.
starting to get rid of these behaviors, get rid of these feelings and emotions now, so that you can start handling things in a calm manner, and know that you know anger is something that can be really you can be relieved from it,
You can.
by
You
being
can.
able to process the reasons why.
Mm.
because and know that everybody's fight is not yours. You don't have to be invited to everybody's party.
Mm.
You
You know
know.
what? I can't do that today. I
Mhm.
don't have the capacity for it today. That's my other
Mhm.
word. I don't have the
Mhm.
capacity. It's not in the capacity of what I need to get done today to do that too. You
Ex-
know,
right.
because then you do it, and you knew that you didn't have the capacity,
Right.
and then you upset.
Mhm.
Sunshine, you knew that before you went. You know,
Yep. You knew what it was,
you
but
knew.
you chose to do
Mm,
it.
mm,
So now it's up to you to make the choice to get yourself out of it.
yes, yes. Because I mean, there's many things I say, yeah, I'm gonna do, and they're like, what was I thinking? I'm
Mhm.
gonna be mad at myself and hope that I
Mhm.
do better the next time.
Right.
But that that
Mhm.
that piece was good of like really being in tune. I remember I was supposed to be going to a meeting,
Mhm.
and I purposely went late
Mhm.
because I knew they wasn't gonna start on time.
Okay.
But when I got there, they still hadn't started. I said, "No, Jesus."
Mm.
So now I'm processing my whole way through. God, I could have been on X, Y, and Z, but I came because I
Mhm.
was supposed to come.
Right.
But they still didn't start when they plan on starting. They're like, please be patient. We getting together. Ugh, Jesus. And this time I didn't take anything with me, so I didn't have nothing with me to keep myself
Oh
busy.
wow.
And again, I try to normally get myself. I
Mhm.
remember I went to the no, that's my tree, get my toes and stuff done. And I was sitting there and it was a lot of people in there, but they had you sitting for the water things. I
Mhm.
put on my phone, started reading a book on my phone and things like that. So I was prepared that day. But
Mhm.
this day in particular, I wasn't prepared.
Mhm.
And it's important for us to also prepare if we feel like something may trigger us, something may be a
Mhm.
tad bit off.
Yeah.
Because if not, I didn't have nothing to distract myself. And then I was like, oh, guard my mouth, Jesus. Don't let me say nothing wrong because I'm human.
Right.
I want people to be
Exactly.
mindful of their time. I get
Exactly.
my mind on my time.
Exactly.
So what I had to do to keep my mind right, what I had to do to keep my spirit still happy,
Mhm.
because people walking up to you and people have that perception of you, and
Mhm.
you got to be on. And
Mhm.
sometimes you don't want to be on because it's like they ain't not right about my time. And you think
Mhm.
my watch on this side of the time.
Mhm.
But you have to really just be conscious and know how to take that step back before you go forward in something that you didn't mean to go forward in. Because once you
Right.
put it out there,
Mhm.
something come out of these lips, we can't put it back in.
Right.
And sometimes people can't get past it. Like you could apologize, you could really
Mhm.
change all of your spots, and they still like, I'll never forget that time.
Right.
You
Because
know,
the thing is, people will remember the negative. They never remember your positives.
Mm-mm.
And it doesn't matter how long it's been, right? Because when you think about when you were in elementary school, right? And I took it all the way back there, you
Yes.
can remember all of the things that the people did to bother you, hurt your feelings, and things like that, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
trickles on and carries on to adulthood
Yes.
because people
Yes.
will say, "Oh, I don't mess with them." You know them as an adult? No, but I don't want to know them
And they can
because I
change.
remember what they did to me at X, Y, and Z, and they keep that memory there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Ah, and that's a hard place to be, friends.
It is.
A hard place to be because people do change. You can be
Mm-hmm.
blocking a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
shared before of how, like, I'd be like, well, because they did da 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 da, and Jesus be like, but didn't I forgive you?
Mm-hmm. Hello.
I had a quick tantrum, real quick, real quick. It was like, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
over. You're right,
Mm-hmm.
but mind my business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't had nothing to say. I didn't have a comeback, and my
Right.
arms was too short to box with God. First of all,
I
but I was just
understand.
like, you're right. Have a good day. Be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to take that correction. You have to be able to take that shutdown, that
Right.
no, because the chastisement come from love.
Yep.
Like somebody's not trying to beat up on you just because. When you
Mm-hmm.
in the gym, this is a good one. I get some good analogies. When you're in the gym and you working out,
Mm-hmm.
you hurting your body real bad.
Right.
But on the other side of it, it's the victory
Mm-hmm.
and the strength to be able to go in there and really handle a fight. But if
Yep.
you ain't go through that torment, if you ain't go through those sore aches, those Charlie horses and things of that
Mm-hmm.
sort, you're not
Yes.
gonna be ready for the fight. So you got to go through that process. It's going to hurt
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. It's going to
Yes.
sting a little bit. It's not supposed to be pleasant. You'll like the outcome of how you start looking and how you start
Mm-hmm.
shaping and things of that sort. You know how you
Yeah.
can breathe and running down the steps and things of that sort. You're like, "Oh, I'm good." I
Mm-hmm.
ain't getting winded and things of that sort. You're ready.
Right.
But you got to go through that process, and it's not always easy. But when I'm going through my process, I can't get mad at somebody else
Right.
because they process
Mm-hmm.
different, or it look like they skipped a couple steps. One, I wasn't walking with them. I really don't know what steps they did or didn't skip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what hell they might have really went through. And
Right.
it was their time, and I just gotta wait a little while longer. And
Yep.
sometimes we get anger. We talk about things that we don't even need to get angry about.
Mm-hmm.
If we mind our business, they say 6 months to mind minds, and
Mm-hmm.
6 months to what is it? The pay to leave yours alone. 6 months to
Mm-hmm.
alone, 6 months to mind mine. So that means
Yep.
I'm continuing to mind mine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Mama Wanda. God
Yep.
always shows me,
Me. Yep. God does. Yes,
and we
He
don't want to
does.
see that because we do
Mm-hmm.
project. Oh, they think they something else. How they getting up there and doing da 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 da. Oh, they think they know it all, and we get angry about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then we see them and we want to start mumbling and complaining
Mm-hmm.
and spreading stuff.
Yep.
And again, I've had some experiences with people that was not pleasant.
Yes.
My
I
prayer
think we
though,
all have.
we all have. My prayer though is that I hope that your experience is not how my experience was,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they acted that way because I had to learn something.
Right.
Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
acted that way because they just had their panties in a bunch that day and they was having a bad day. Whatever it
Yes.
was.
Mm-hmm.
However, may your experience be different, and your experience may be different.
Yes.
I can't get upset that your experience different. They played
Yes.
the role they were supposed to play in my life. God
Mm-hmm.
bless and keep them. I'm
Yep.
grateful that they was able to help you.
Yep. Exactly.
What
Exactly.
was the hardest part of writing your book?
You know what? It was so funny because the hardest part of writing the book was it was trying to put it together. Trying
Mhm.
to put it together. And it was like actually trying to decide that I actually wanted the right one.
Yeah.
Because at the point it was just like I had my first book that I wrote that came out back in 2018 called Maintaining Good Mental Health,
Mm.
right? And so when I had the anger, I was sitting there and everybody was like, how do you not have an anger management book out? Why would you write about maintaining good mental health?
Yeah.
And everybody calls you the anger doctor and you don't have an anger book. And I
Yeah.
started laughing. I was like, well, because I don't. And so, and so I was sitting there and I said, you know what? I've thought about it and I prayed on it. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to do something. And
Mhm.
so my friend was like, my friend actually had a little challenge going. And she was like, I
Yeah.
challenge you to write this book, to
Mhm.
do a journal. And
Mhm.
I said, to do a journal. I said, okay. So I started doing a journal. And then I thought about it and I said, I need to do an anger management journal. What am I doing?
Yes.
And
What
so
are
that's
you
when I was just
doing?
like, I said, I got all these tools and all this. I need to compile it so that I can have my own resource to help people. I'm like, I'm using other people's resources to help with my anger clients, not their anger clients, my anger client. I'm like, no, this, no, 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 no. We gotta fix this. And so that's when I decided to start out with creating the anger management journal. And so as I, published this one and I did self-publish this one, I said, you know what, I need to come up with other versions of this. And so as I was talking with people with, about anger, with the whole let's laugh, I was like listening to my clients and then going back and reflecting on my notes. I said, okay, the next book that's coming out is going to be Let's Laugh,
Come on.
but I'm adding another A,
Come
and
on.
it's going to be Let's Live Anger and Anxiety Free.
Yes.
Because when you think about anger, anger and anxiety pretty much go hand in hand. People don't want to acknowledge it, but it does. And the reason I say that it goes hand in hand is because when people are experiencing anxiety, they don't know all the time why they're feeling anxious. And when you don't know something, I think each and every one of us know when we experience in that moment of uncertainty, we start to get so upset.
Come on.
We become depressed and we become what? Angry
Angry.
because I need help. And then when you go to doctors and places and people say, I need help, and it's like, I can't help you. Nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? And then, a lot of us live our life where we're like, I want to take holistic approaches.
Hmm.
Don't put me on no meds. There is no medication for anger. I'm gonna put it out there, right?
Yeah.
They can give you something to calm you down,
Yes.
right? but it's not going to stop the anger from forming. It's just going to
Calm you down.
calm down your anxiety, and just put you at a place of calmness, right? But it's not going to cure the situations that led up to you becoming angry,
Mm-hmm.
because the
Mm-hmm.
situation is going to still be there. You're going to be calm. It's just that the medication is just going to put I don't want to say pacify the situation, but it's going to basically put you in a state, uh emotional state, where you can allow yourself time to process what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. I'll use that.
So I
I'll
mean, you
use
still
those
got to deal
terms.
with it.
But you still got to deal with it. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
how you handle it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And that's good right there. Let's sit there for a second because so many times we do use some coping skills that are healthy and unhealthy at the same time,
mhm,
but it doesn't take away that situation.
right.
I could do whatever it is,
Mhm,
but when the dust settles,
mhm,
I still got to deal with the situation that first made me
mhm.
angry.
Yeah.
And then hope that what I did
Mhm.
didn't cause some more anger. Hope that
Yes.
the choice that I made
Mhm.
didn't lead to more anger. Hope
Mhm.
that I
Yeah.
didn't stir the pot more
Yep.
than what it first was.
Mhm.
Because then I'm more angry at the person and angry at myself. Like, what in the world was you thinking, Jennifer?
Mhm.
I use my name, but y'all put your name out there because, we've all been there. We've
Right.
all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. We have all been there, and it's just being able to accept
Mm-hmm.
that we can change, and allow ourselves grace so that we
Mm-hmm.
are allow ourselves to change.
So you said it's another book that's coming and it's going to be called.
It's going to call Let's Laugh, but it's going to be living anger and anxiety free.
Yeah. See, I love it. And it's funny, I was going to ask, I was like, shit, keep on this, let's laugh. Because it's so many different portions of it.
It goes to so many levels, and it was like when I first came out with it, I was just only on the whole just anger management journal standpoint. But then as I started promoting the book more and
Mm-hmm.
talking to a lot of business owners,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole vibe. And like everybody's like, Tyra, when are you starting the anger management group for business owners? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so now we need to figure out how we going to do this. Are we going to do this live, or we going to do this in on Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now I'm creating
Yeah.
workshops.
Absolutely. Come on.
I actually have a workshop coming up in a couple of weeks for nurses,
Very nice.
because they asked, how can
Very
we
nice.
talk about things that's happening with us? So on the 15th of September, I'm hosting a workshop for nurses. And I said, so I'm going to start with them to help them in situations, so that they can have a chance to have an opportunity to be able to vent. Like I have a program called My Outlet, and what My Outlet is a ventilation program to help people be able to talk about things that they wouldn't ordinarily talk about, with family or friends and things like that. But like I know, Jennifer, when it comes to our profession, and especially with anger management,
Mm-hmm.
people be wanting to meet me behind the office, down the street. Like when I'm in live events, nobody wants to admit what they have going on. So they want to pull me aside when nobody's looking, so that they can talk about what's going on.
But guess what? Somebody's still looking. We just talked about. I always feel
Oh,
like
somebody watching, like, what you over there talking to the anger lady for? What's wrong with you?
yes, yes. Then you got to come up with something. You know what? No, I was I'm not a good liar. I can't even think of it. Like, dang, I was thinking that she should help out some people that I knew, or I wanted some support of how to help a friend.
Like,
I was there for a
how I can
friend.
help all these people? I need to help the masses.
Yeah, and I want to say kudos to you for going forth with um creating this because what happens is I have learned
Mhm,
if and I posted this the other day, if God gives you an idea, if you act on it, you will attract the people it was created for.
mhm,
And what happens is you start one thing and then they find out, oh wait, I really needed this. Like what else
mhm,
can we do? How can we continue to build on it? And they'll
mhm.
keep you in business for life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And my thing is, it's just like, again, a lot of people don't like to talk about having anger,
Mm-hmm.
even though we see anger every day when we turn the news on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, But at the end of the day, is this is definitely something that we need to have more conversations
Yes,
about. We need to
absolutely.
find ways to be able to solve the problems that people are experiencing so that they can be put back in a state of happiness. We're not going to say you're going to be so overjoyed and happy that you just keep this
Mhm.
permanent smile on your face. But what we
Yeah,
want to do is we want people to be able to be in a mindset where they can at least have a little bit more self-love,
hmm,
self-esteem, self-confidence, and
yes,
be able to accept the life that they're living and being
yes,
able to say I'm okay. Because
yeah,
we know it's okay to say that you're not okay, but
hmm,
we want to get you to the point where you can say I'm okay and I'm all right with the situations as they are in my life for me to move forward to do all the things that I need to do in a healthy and productive lifestyle.
yes. Oh, I like this. Mama Wanda, you said a ventilation uh outlet is needed. And
Hmm.
full disclosure, years ago when my mom was still living, she was sick, and I would
Hmm.
get so frustrated and I would be angry because it wasn't nothing I could do, right? All I
Hmm.
could do was pray and trust God. But it
Right.
wasn't anything that I could really do other than supporting the things that sort.
Hmm.
And it was one time I saw myself just destroying everything in the house, and I was like,
Hmm.
can't quite do that because who's gonna clean it up? I had a little
Hmm.
bit, I
Hmm.
had a little bit of
Hmm.
sanity there.
Hmm.
Um, but years later now, they have a place called the Rage Room where you can
Hmm.
go and break stuff to get that anger out. So you want to
Hmm.
be able to get it out because if
Yep.
you're not letting air in, you get whoo, whoo, whoo,
Exactly.
and then gonna pop. It's like a balloon. And a
Yep.
balloon can only take but so much.
Hmm.
So you want to be able to have that outlet. It's so, so, so important. And whatever way that you do it, some people
Yes.
write,
Hmm.
some people run.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna run, I can walk.
Some people will cook.
Some people will cook.
Some people will color.
Yes, and if you know how to cook and you want to cook, let me know. I mean, I might come visit. I mean, I have good Tupperware I could bring. I gotta get my life together. But you gotta find what it is that you
Got to
enjoy
find what
doing.
works for you.
Yes, and even in cooking, sometimes you like cook for somebody else because most
Hmm.
people I know around holidays when you cook, then you don't even eat because
Right.
you was just full from doing the cooking and things of that sort. So
Hmm.
again, find
Yep.
what works for you. Yes, get to the point of I'm okay. Many people are not. You're absolutely
Mm.
right,
Yeah, they're
and they're
not.
walking around like ticking time bombs that could go off at any
Any-
time.
And the
So
thing is, you never know what sets them off.
you don't know
That's
what's
the bad part. We don't know people's triggers.
you don't know. And that's the scarier part.
Hmm.
For real. Because like I'll never forget I worked somewhere one time and they were like, oh, he didn't want to watch, he gonna do something. I was like, well, he ain't gonna do that to me because I speak to him, I help him and everything. Because you have support. But you can speak to him, be nice and everything, and they still get you. So you don't know.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
don't know. All you can do is I just say I trust God and put it in the hands of God, like God, lead and guide me. Even on the road, sometimes we want to get some road rage too because the
Hmm.
people doing something crazy. Just today, I'm telling on myself today, God. Okay,
Hmm.
so I was get the light, and we were
Right.
supposed to be able to turn. The light was green, and we got there. We was almost there. Then she stopped. I was like, oh. So then you got to go to brakes. I was like, God, I thank you for good brakes, because had I hit her, we would have had a problem. Because if you
Right.
hit somebody from the back, you in trouble,
You
right?
in trouble.
I was
Hmm.
alert. I was ready. We got to be alert and ready. So then, as the light was changed, about to change, it was still yellow, so we was like able to go because that yellow just showed with caution.
Hmm.
I would just leave it there because yeah, and deal with
Hmm.
caution is what I did, and I went on and turned it and that stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes that road rage gets you. You want to do something, and in this time and age that we're living in, we can't do that, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to take into account in this living anger free.
Yeah.
It's some things that we can justly get mad at. We can
Hmm.
be angry. We want to
Yes.
go off, but in this time and season, sunshines,
You can't. We
we
need to get it
can't.
together.
It was a situation, and this was a while ago because I really don't watch the news because it's too much for me.
Hmm.
But I am aware of what's going on in the world, but
Yes.
I'm not as tapped in as some others. They're like,
Right.
you didn't hear about that? No, sorry, I didn't catch it.
Right.
But it was where um the person did something to the other person, and then the person went to their house. You
Hmm.
bold to go to their house to then handle the
Hmm.
situation. We never know what's possible, how people are
Hmm.
following us, how people are watching. Yeah,
Yeah.
she said Broad Street and 76 West is a testament.
Yes, it is. Of all the, yeah, anger issues all look across the board, not just yours,
Yes,
Antoinette, everybody's.
everybody. But even in that, again, friends, we got to be careful because some people don't receive
Hmm.
very well. And if they're
No.
already having a bad day, you did that one
Hmm.
thing,
Yep.
because they got the kahunas. They feel they want to handle it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I
they
saw
start
the
feeling themselves. It's over.
it's over. So we
Hmm.
we want to just be mindful. We want to think before we respond.
Yes.
Um, hey, and again, I've been guilty because there's been some situations I was like, Jennifer, now you know that was totally wrong.
Hmm.
Not even in your character to be doing that kind of stuff. What was you
Right.
doing it? You
Hmm.
know, but we're human. We get upset. We get frustrated. Just want to be able
Yes.
to pull those reins in
Hmm.
because you get too loose. You be out there and then you forget all the stuff that you thought you knew when that you didn't know when it's coming up. And you're like,
Hmm.
and you done started a circus and we didn't
Hmm.
even know the circus was in town.
Right.
So, friends, relax, relate, release, think before you respond. Because I don't have no
Hmm.
bail money. I'm going to say a prayer for you, though. God
Yep.
bless.
Take a
Okay.
step back, process it, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. This was good. What is something that you want us to walk away with?
Okay, so one thing that I want everybody to be able to walk away with is being able to maintain and have self control.
Ooh,
When it comes to anger, right? I want you to always remember to remain calm. Take a deep breath, be able to know that try not to respond when you're angry, right? Think about possible solutions to the situations that is occurring. You know, try not to hold on to grudges. Be able to let it go. This is things that will help you, with processing anger. Also being able to stick with I statements. Being able to say I did this, I did that is accepting that ownership, right? And being able to accept it, being able to take a time out. We put
ooh,
kids in time out. We could put ourselves in time out too.
absolutely.
Be able to start learning how to practice relaxation techniques, meditation, yoga, anything that keeps you calm. Being able to sit back and allow yourself time to pray. If the situation is so out of control, pray. Take that moment, pray. Talk to God about what's going on. He will help you and He will pull you through. Know when to seek help, because that's the one thing. A lot of us don't know when we need to seek help. Know that, therapists are your friends, just like your primary physician. We are all here to help you. Mental health is just as important as physical health.
Yeah.
And that's something that I want everybody to know, the importance of having wellness. So,
So, so, so good. Friends, share this with somebody. I mean, you ain't gotta actually, you can share it whatever way you
mm-hmm,
want to do it, but also make sure you share with somebody else the importance of them
hmm,
stopping. Yes, Mama Wanda.
yes.
Before you
Hmm.
do anything, stop,
Stop,
think, and
think, and
pray.
pray. That's right. 'Cause they say stop, drop, and roll, but you got to stop, think, and pray to pull
Absolutely.
you through.
So pull you through.
Mm-hmm.
Uh because if not, we can get into some situations that aren't healthy for us, that can harm others, that can harm ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Simple decisions.
Yeah.
Simple decisions. I mean, there's some stories that I do see in the news, and again, I just don't watch stories
Mm-hmm.
too much in the news because in doing therapy, sometimes you hear a lot of these things firsthand. So it
Right.
kind of like turned me off years ago, where I don't sit and watch the news. When I lived in
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, I
Mm-hmm.
watched the news because it was like I don't want to say it was like general stuff, like oh they're doing this in the area, they're doing this. It was like calm, cool, collected. Then things started
Mm-hmm.
changing in the area, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be able to stop and think because times have changed.
Right.
How people used to respond, that's not how they respond anymore. It was a time where they used to fight, hand with the fist and things of that sort. Now we're picking up
Mm-hmm.
things and harming people and things of that sort, and lighting up a whole bunch of people,
Mm-hmm.
innocent bystanders and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just stop, think, and pray, and really think about the consequences that could come from it. I mean, again, if you're ready for what comes on the end,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I thought my lifeline to you that if you can stop, think, and pray. What other way can we handle the situation where you don't jam yourself up for the rest of your
Yeah.
life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's the thing. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you respond in an aggressive manner that will cause you your freedom.
Mm.
Your freedom is more important than anything.
And friends, some of us are already barely free,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that word right there is a powerful word within itself.
Mm. So good, so good, so good. Y'all be sure
Yes.
to check out the anger management specialist if you know somebody that needs some support. You're taking clients, you're doing this work for people, for businesses, because it's good in business. Because
Oh
if we're
yeah.
not handling it at home, we're bringing it to the workforce, and then we
You
got
got
another
that
thing
right.
going on. So that's why she's doing it. So again, if
Hmm.
your organization can benefit from it, be sure to connect with her because she got some amazing things going on. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything
Thank
else
you
you want
so
to say?
much for having me. This was awesome. Jen cares. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, this was good. All right. I'm going to let you go. May you have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Good night, everybody.
Yes. Oh, that was amazing. Yo, friends, I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. That was really good. Mm. Stop, think, and pray before we do something that can mess us up in the long run. Don't forget our quote of the day: whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Benjamin Franklin. Again, whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Such a good quote. Such a good quote, friends. Don't let nothing end in shame. I got a couple things I want to share before I do go. As she shared about the thing of some self-care and things and balancing that, this weekend Chosen Counselors hosted their first meetup, and let me tell you, I had a blast. My heart is still overjoyed. As shared, when you do something that God has told you to do, you will attract the people that want to be a part. I was sharing with Tyra before we went live about the next things that we got coming up, and she's like, "Oh, sign me up! I want to go." So this is a recap. This is a picture of the ladies that came. It was so amazing. It was sisterly love. We had a blast. I had a blast. Oh, it was amazing. The meetup was the place you wanted to be. And if you were not there, you still can join. Because it's we meet once every 3 months. Once every 3 months we meet and have an event. This Saturday was our first one. We went to Ira Entree in Philadelphia between 40th and it's on 40th Street in between Market and Chestnut, Jamaican spot. The food was delicious. The service was amazing. Go over there and enjoy. Oh, it was so good. So our next event is going to be in November. It's going to be a spa day. So if you want to be a part, be sure to go to our website. Here we go. Let's get it going. Visit our website at chosencounselors.com so that you can join and be a part and know what's going on. You don't have to come to every event. You just come to the events that you can come to. However, you will receive an accountability partner. Dun, 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 dun. Why? Because there's some goals that we are working to do. And friends, I want you to meet those goals. I want you to soar as high as you can and to achieve everything that you were put on this earth to do. So again, visit us at chosencounselors.com to sign up for the meetup. Whoop, 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 whoop. What else I got for you next month is the back to school series. So check out what we got coming.
Well, hello there, friends. It's a new month, and we have a new series just for you. Be sure to join Jen Cares for the September series, Back to School. The Back to School series will begin on Monday, September 12th, as we talk to Dr. Anna Hernandez about the counselor's office. Next, we will have Jessica Williams for our Adulting Strong episode on Monday, September 19th. We will close out on Monday, September 26th with Daryl Lee to talk about cybersecurity. Here's to a safe and successful school year. As always, remember to tune in on Facebook or on YouTube by searching Chosen Counselors on Mondays at 8 p.m. Be sure to mark your calendar and tell a friend, as this Jen Care series is brought to you by Chosen Counselors.
So, friends, be sure to tune in next month. I'm really excited when we're going to the counselor's office because the counselor's office has been with us since elementary school. We sometimes need in our adulthood as well. And then Jessica Williams, I read her story and you're in for a treat. I'm going to leave it there. And then cybersecurity. Why? Because these spam callers, they are calling us, they are texting us, they are sending us mail, they are emailing us this crazy stuff. And guess what, friends? I don't want none of us to get jammed up. So we're going to talk to somebody to share with us how to protect ourselves from those that are sending us this unwanted solicited information. They try to jam us up, and I don't want that to happen to you. So you be sure that you tune in on next month. Next Monday, we will be going because it's a holiday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Enjoy your holiday. I plan to enjoy mine. I probably won't know what to do not going live, but I'll figure it out. Okay. But we will come back on the 12th to kick off our back to school series. Again, if you want to join the meetup, be sure to visit our website so you can stay in and know about the activities that are going on. I love y'all for real. Thank you so much for joining us. That's everything that I have. Yep. So until next time, I love y'all for real. Good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here as we specialize in bringing the community to you.